What is going on, podcast land? This is Brandon, and I'm here with Patrick,
Hey, what's up, guys?
and this is another episode of the Nerd Locker podcast. We decided, since this was the last week of 2016, and we are just about ready to put this shit year behind us, I did some thinking, and I was trying to think of all the good things that happened this year. So we kind of decided to do a best of list because all around 2016 has been a real son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's been a complete ball buster, and I think we all need something to remind us of all the good things that have happened besides all the bad things that have happened.
Yeah, and actually, we are recording this on today, December 27th, which is the day that we found out Carrie Fisher has passed away, and that was just one last kick in the balls from 2016.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it has been a ball buster of a year, and speaking as a true '80s kid, as somebody who grew up in the '80s and stuff, to watch so many people from your childhood die is, well, it sucks. I mean, basically, Princess Leia was um, every '80s kid's I don't know, turning point in puberty would be the best way of putting it. July, I mean, not July, but Jabba the Hutt, Slave Leia. That was it, man, and we're down one, you know.
Yeah, it's just that one. I think Bowie was my biggest. Like that was a shitty way to start the
Mm.
year. But then you had Rickman, and then you had Wilder, who Sheen Wilder was just part of my childhood. Like just as
Oh,
big
for
as
sure.
anybody else. Even you started with Willy Wonka, and then you get into Mel Brooks and all of his other comedy roles and stuff. And yeah, Carrie Fisher just that sucked a lot today. So
Yeah, I would, I would have to agree with you on that one on Bowie. You know, Bowie was a big one for me. Um, Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman sucked too, man. Like,
Yeah.
the thing is, like I said, we are going to be positive at some point in this, but we did want to, just kind of pay our respects to the people that we did lose because it was a lot this year.
Yeah, I mean, it was there were a lot this year, and some of our friends are trying to figure out why we're so distraught over this whole thing. They have to understand that as connoisseurs of pop culture that we are, especially being here at Nerd Locker, we know who these people are. We know their bodies of work probably better than some of the other people in our lives. I mean,
Yeah, no,
uh,
absolutely.
like for you especially, Brandon, I grew up with these people, and you learned who these people were. um, Bowie was a quintessential part of my childhood. Labyrinth,
Oh yeah,
was a big time deal. Prince, for example, him dying, that was, that blanketed the whole entire, like, whole, elementary, junior high, and high school. Every single dance I ever went to and stood against a wall and one of his songs were playing. Um, then you have like people like Muhammad Ali, and you have like Fife Dog from Tribe Called Quest. You just had a bunch of people that that you didn't want to see go,
yeah.
and I think it's good to acknowledge them. It's good to um, remember them and remember their works, and know that they're always going to live on through film and television. But
That is the cool thing is that they've left us with all of these things. And like I remember when Bowie passed away, I listened to him for maybe the next week and a half, and nobody
hmm
but him because. But that's the
right,
thing too. Is like I saw Rogue One last night,
hmm
and like you see Carrie Fisher at the end of the movie. Spoilers, sorry guys, whatever. But I was
yeah,
like, man, like oh, that's so cool because it just brings you back to what you enjoyed about her through your child. And Blues Brothers is one of my favorite movies of all time
oh yeah,
too, and she is
hmm
great in that, even the small role she has. But yeah, so the cool thing is that we do get to keep that forever, and that's badass.
yeah. And one of the fucked up things was like one of my friends took his kid to go see Rogue One, and he was like, while he was in the movie theater, he took it to see Rogue One today. It was today.
Oh no!
And yes, and while in the middle of the movie, he gets the you get the news text alert from your feeds or whatever,
Yeah.
and it comes across as Carrie Fisher has passed away, and he said it was the most difficult scene in the world to
Oh,
watch
I'm
that last 30
sure.
seconds of the movie. He's like, because she says, what is that? It's a New Hope, and he was like, I'm a blabbering idiot in front of his kid afterwards. So it was pretty tough. It's been a rough year. It's been a rough year, but like we said, we're here to talk about some of the great things that happened this year,
Yes, because
and
no, I mean, like,
I think we
although a lot of things hit the fan, there's a lot of things that kept our mind off of the bad stuff that was happening.
exactly. I mean, let's start with our first subject, which is movies. You know, ton of great movies came out this year.
Oh, absolutely. I wanted to start with comic book movie
Mm.
because now there were definitely some I didn't enjoy, but I've been trying to stay more positive about things. And you
Right.
do have to admit, like, this was a huge year for movies. I mean,
Yeah.
you had I mean, for lack of effort, or at least they tried, but we did have the big three on screen together for the first time ever. We had a
Mm.
Suicide Squad movie that had characters I never thought I would see in a live action film,
True.
in the
True.
live
True.
action film. Um, but I mean, with Deadpool at the beginning of the year, holy
Yeah.
shit, that was great.
Yeah. Yeah. What a
Um,
way to kick off the beginning of 2016 with Deadpool.
and it was a
And
good Deadpool movie.
exactly. I thought, when I saw this at the beginning of the year, I'm like, okay, great. They finally got it. 20th Century Fox has finally got their shit together. They figured out what it means to put together a good comic book movie. And then
But
we had the rest.
we had Apocalypse, and
Exactly.
it is crazy though because I will watch those movies for Michael Fassbender alone. Like that whole scene at the beginning, I was like, "Holy shit, this guy is so good at playing Magneto!" Like, oh, it's unreal how perfect he is for that.
Did you see Assassin's Creed yet?
I did not.
Okay. Okay.
I know you and I
I'll judge it.
both. I know you and I both love that video game franchise,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I also
Yeah.
know that video game movies don't have the best track record of being great.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, that's kind of why I haven't seen it yet. So your
Yep.
tone's telling me a lot.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
I will say too, we had Doctor Strange in a movie. That is cool. That is like,
That
and it
was
was
awesome.
another good Doctor Strange movie. But um, definitely, definitely my favorite was Civil War, and that's just because it did something that
Really?
I never thought would be possible. And I mean, we had Spider Man and Black Panther and Captain America and Iron Man and War Machine and Ant Man and Hawkeye, like all on screen together. Like it was just,
Mm.
I remember when they start that big fight and you see Spider Man like block Winter Soldier's punch. I'm just like, if you would have told me this 10 years ago, I would have told you out of your goddamn mind. Like,
Pretty much, yeah.
that was my favorite comic book movie of the year.
I would have to agree with you on that one. I mean, I don't. It comes close. It's really really close between Deadpool and and Captain America: Civil War. The only reason why is because Deadpool nailed it on so many different levels,
Oh,
and
Deadpool did just like knock it out of the park.
well, you did. It knocked it out of the park, but at the same time, it kept consistent and kept true to the character and to the comic. So that one's kind of tough, but you're right. As far as it goes for visuals, and pure fanboy service, Captain America: Civil War is absolutely the number one king of all of them because, like you said, you have Spider Man, you have Black Panther, you have Winter Soldier, you have everybody going at each other's throats. I mean, you get to see Ant Man instead of shrinking. You get to see him actually grow, which was kind of a big thing for me in the movie because I didn't get a chance to see that. Um, so you get a chance to see all these characters interact, and you have a good feeling of what Infinity War could be like, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think Marvel just has it locked in.
Has it dialed, absolutely
Oh,
dialed.
absolutely.
But what
Um,
about non-comic book movies?
Well, I did. I wrote down some of my favorite horror movies this year.
Mhm.
Um, as far as non-comic book movies, I mean, Rogue One was amazing. Rogue One
Yep.
was just that. It was funny. I left the theater and this guy in front of me was not a fan, and I heard him say he's like, that whole movie just seemed like a side quest, and I'm like, yeah, but it was solid. Like I enjoyed every second of that. Like this is what I want out of like non-episode Star Wars movies.
Well, I mean, that's what I want out of episode Star Wars movies. To tell you the truth, I mean, you know, I went back and after I watched Rogue One, I went to go see Rogue One when it opened. I go back and I watch episode 7. And again, just saying the cockpit thing.
Episode 7 was member berries. Like
mm,
it was just fan service. And I don't get me
yeah,
wrong, I liked it a lot. I really enjoyed it. I I think it was just a nice introduction to what to expect now. I mean, because the thing is you realize they were going off of the last three movies made, and those were not well received
yeah,
as a
true,
whole. So
true,
I think
true,
this was
true.
kind of just like a I mean, you look at J.J. Abrams' first Star Trek movie, and it was
Hmm.
like, a reintroduction to what you wanted and what it set the tone and kind of got you into why you liked this franchise as much as you do.
But at the same time, though, with the Star Trek movies, though, you had a little bit more of an edge to it. And I feel that with especially with the last one, which is another one on my list, which was Star Trek Beyond. Um, you know, even though that one wasn't done by J.J. Abrams, it was executive produced by him. It was written by Simon Pegg. You still got the fan service that you wanted, but at the same time, you still got a great story on top of that. And the one thing that Rogue One did was give you a great fucking story, man. I mean, even even if we knew, like, for a kid, like again, going back to the fact that I'm old as fuck, going back to the fact that I'm old as fuck, one of the questions I've always had when I was a kid was, who the hell built that freaking exhaust port, and why the hell
That was
did you
really
buy that
cool
exhaust
because
port?
that's been a joke since that movie came out, and
Exactly.
this movie just totally,
Destroyed it.
well, yeah, it was like, oh, that's why this is there, and
That
I thought that was
exactly.
really cool. You know what else I really liked was the fact that you find out how they're powering the Death Star
Oh yeah,
with all
kyber
the. Oh
crystals,
my god, I was losing my shit,
fucking
and it's
lightsaber crystals,
oh,
killing. Oh
that was
man,
so cool.
that was good.
Yeah.
That was by far one of the best elements in the movie itself.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
because it was such a sense of irony that they were going around raiding, Jedi temples for kyber crystals to build this giant planet killing
Weapon of
device.
mass destruction. Like
Exactly, and that was a big deal because I had to explain that one to my son. I'm like, yeah, he's like, what kyber crystals? Why are kyber crystals? And he remembers from the Star Wars Lego. I think it's like some kind of Lego show where kyber crystals are mentioned about building lightsabers. He's like,
that's so
that's.
cool.
He's like, oh, that's. Oh, and he sat back and thought about it for a second. He's like, how, granted he's 9, so he's probably not saying how fucked up is that, but I'm in my head saying, how fucked up is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Vader's going around killing people left and right, raiding these temples for kyber crystals. And speaking of Vader,
Ugh.
that end
Ugh.
scene,
Oh man. That was so good.
sorry if you guys are not into the spoilers, but holy shit, Vader is a bad motherfucker. And you got a chance to see how bad he was because he didn't really even break a sweat or move that much. He just used the force choked the crap out of people, put them in the right place, sliced them to pieces, and just kept on moving.
That
That
was
was awesome.
it was so, and I got to tell you when the light doesn't come on, I'm like, "Oh shit." And the lightsaber just
Yeah.
illuminates the and it's like you didn't get a lot of Vader, but when you got him, it was just
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. Don't
Like,
choke on your aspirations.
uh man,
Dude.
all good.
Yeah.
All good stuff.
All, all good
Um
stuff.
Other movies I really like this year, Zootopia was surprisingly really good.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
for an
Yeah.
animated Disney, not that any of them are awful. They're all entertaining to some level, but that was like, oh damn.
That
uh,
was good, and it had a message.
oh, a huge message, man.
Yeah.
When
Don't be a dick.
yeah, basically, what was
Yeah.
it when she goes to get the anti fox spray or whatever,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh shit, that just happened.
Yeah.
No, that was really, really well done. Jungle Book was great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I loved.
Arrival.
I didn't see Arrival yet. I've tried
See,
so hard this week, but I have heard nothing but
I
amazing things about that.
Arrival for my non-comic book movie was definitely one of those up there because Arrival, even though it wasn't as fast paced as some of the other movies that we've mentioned, it was still up there with the and then the sci-fi genre, which made you think like, holy crap, this is this is awesome, and the way they did it, the way they shot it, um, the aliens and everything was just perfect. They couldn't have got any better as far as it goes for a sci-fi flick.
On
So
an opposite note, my least favorite, shittiest movie of the year was
ooh,
Independence Day. That was such a pile
yeah.
of goddamn trash. That movie ended. I thought it was gonna be a Family Guy skit. I thought Peter Griffin was gonna be like, ha. I'm like, it was so forced and weird. I just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I love Fantastic Beasts. I thought that was great.
didn't see that.
I mean,
Didn't see
I'm
that
a
one.
stupid for Harry Potter, so
Yeah,
had to go see
for
that. Uh,
worst
ni-
movie for me, I'd say first of all, movie for me had to be. Oh, it was a tough one between Suicide Squad and I would say Batman vs Superman, but I just saw Assassin's Creed. Sorry,
oh, is it that bad? Here's the
it
thing: is I
is.
thought when I saw that when I saw the storyline of the movie, I'm
Hmm.
like, have you guys read the storylines of the games? Like, there's
Yeah,
more than
no,
enough shit you can just go off of with that. Like,
right, right,
100%. Like, Altair,
yeah.
friggin'
You,
Ezio. Like,
you had plenty of stuff. You had mountains and
and
mountains
here's
of
the thing:
material.
now that you know Altair's entire story, you could have
Hmm.
done this in 3 movies with him as Altair. Like, that
Right.
100% could have happened. It's not like where you played one and then you play two and you're just Ezio, because by the time of Ezio's story, you know all of Altair's story, and
Right.
it's perfect.
Exactly. But unfortunately, yeah.
Well, I kind of figured, but
Yeah. Yeah. Go. I would. I know as a Assassin's Creed fan, it would be tough to wait till Red Box, but at least wait until it gets to the dollar theater. How about
okay,
that?
that makes sense.
Or you get a free movie pass.
Yeah, or that, just
Yeah.
figure it out. But yeah, but then I'll ask for my money back. I'll be like, yeah, this
Yeah.
is.
This shit's horrible. Those are my worst. But that as far as it goes for movies, that's pretty much for me at least covers all the movies that you have. You said you like
I
horror
mean,
movies. So.
yeah, I mean, I like 31 a lot. I'm a huge Rob Zombie fan.
Mhm.
Conjuring 2, I thought was really good. The Boy was better than I expected, just because of the kind of twist they had in it. So I
Mhm.
enjoyed that. I think my favorite though was Hush, because it just appeared on Netflix one day. I never even heard about it in the theaters or anything. And this will come again when we're talking in the TV shows, but I just didn't have I had absolute zero expectations for it, and it
Mhm.
turned out a lot better than I thought it would have been. It's about a deaf woman who basically gets stalked by this guy this night, and he's trying to kill her. And it
Hmm.
was just an interesting concept of like a deaf woman has to hide and outsmart a murderer. But
That sounds fucked up.
it was really well done. So if you're a horror fan, I would check those out. But let's hop on to television shows.
Oh yeah.
Um, This was in my top five. It wasn't my absolute favorite, but I thought it was very well done. Was American Crime Story, the O.J. Simpson
Mm,
one?
okay.
Because I remember as a kid, like when that was happening,
Oh yeah.
all the adults being totally involved in it, and I just never really saw the
Big deal.
like I as a kid I honestly thought it was like a TV show because it was all anyone was talking about, and I just had no frame of reference of who these people were or all the crazy shit that went on during that trial. So I
Right.
thought this was cool because I remember watching this, I'm watching the show and I'm thinking like, wait, this all actually happened? Like this is the most asinine bullshit thing I've ever heard in my life, and it's all real and it all happened. Like
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
Um Another one I really liked was Atlanta from FX, which is
Yeah.
Donald Glover's show,
That was a good
and
one.
he's incredible, man. His new album is great too. Like everything this guy does is just gold. So it was cool to see him have a TV show and have a good TV show.
Nice.
Stranger Things, obviously, that was amazing. Luke Cage was fucking outstanding.
Right.
But my absolute favorite this year, and it was for the same reason because I had no idea what to expect or what was going on, was Westworld.
Of course, Westworld.
Man,
Now for me, real quick, for my top five picks, it was the same thing. It was, um, uh, first of all, number one was Westworld, just like you. Luke Cage was number two. Stranger Things was number three. This year's SNL, for some reason, SNL was on fire this week. Maybe it was the Donald Trump impersonations. I don't know what it was, but not Kristen Wiig. What's her name? God, I can't remember her name now for the life of me. Played
um,
Hillary Clinton.
God damn it! Why did you just say that? I love her, Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon, thank you.
Oh,
Kate
she's the
McKinnon
best.
was the best. And my number five was Walking Dead, but only the first two episodes. Only the first two episodes because you just wanted to know who the hell Negan bashed in. So back to Westworld though. With your Westworld, I would completely agree with you on this one. We didn't know what to expect from Westworld. I mean, when I heard about it, I was like, okay, let me look it up, and then I saw the movie reference. I never watched the whole movie. I was a big Yul Brenner fan when I was younger and stuff like that with Magnificent Seven, but I never made the connection between Westworld. But holy shit, did that TV series completely uh, just blow every expectation or idea that I had for the show out the water.
That was just such good writing, like through and through. That was just amazing.
Yeah.
It was so good. The first episode, like the ending, where
Hmm.
would you ever hurt another living creature? And she's like, no, and she just smacks that fly.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was like, from that point on, I'm like, what's going? And then they have a good span in there where you're coming up with your own theories, you're doing this and that, and then episode 7 is just this bomb drop that
Hmm.
just threw me for a loop, and then the last 3 episodes were just boom, boom, boom. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, that was
Well,
so good.
it was really good, and that was the big thing was, the way I rate a television show is, through fan theory. Um, One of the good and bad things with FX is that Netflix gives you everything all at once, so you get to binge and you get to go through it and you get
That
to
is fun.
yeah,
Waiting week to
you
week
know.
is tough now.
Yeah, waiting week, but waiting week for week is what builds excitement for an actual series. So with Westworld, we had to wait week to week, and we had to hypothesize on what exactly was going on, and that's when you have the mark of a really good TV show is when you have fans coming up with theories and working them and trying to work them out, and then having them either proven right or proven wrong. That's great television, man. You can't beat that. You go through that whole thing with even with Walking Dead. With Walking Dead, if you read the comics, you kind of knew what was going to happen, so you weren't that surprised. Um, but with Westworld, no clue, no point of
No,
reference, no idea.
No,
Even
absolutely.
with
Well,
Game
you
of
had the
Thrones.
first movie, but it's like that was not the same thing
Yeah, yeah,
whatsoever.
right. So it was a great TV show because it stayed true to an episodic, television show. Even with Game
Absolutely.
of Thrones, you had the books as a reference, and you still kind of knew what was going on. So, kudos to fucking the writers and the producers and HBO just in general for keeping it real, as it were.
Oh yeah.
Um, and not spoiling it for us, not giving into this on-demand society of television and media. So,
Oh yeah.
and I can't, and I think Jim, we talked about this in a previous podcast. They sold what, 5 years? They're
They
written
they
all the
they
way out
came
five
in and
years.
said what I like to yeah, they came in and said we have a complete story and the
Yeah,
goal is 5 seasons and that would be what needs to happen in order to tell the entire story. And I like that they did that rather than being like, "Oh, okay, well, we have an idea for kind of figuring shit out as you go."
right.
But that also kind of tells you, like, when you're watching, they know what's going to happen. They know
Yeah,
where
yeah,
the story's going. So it's not like people are sitting there going, "Well, what should we do next?" Like, the story's written
yeah.
and done with. So that's awesome.
And funny enough, that is very much like Ford,
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Uh, I already got. I was in San Francisco that weekend of the finale, and I remember you messaged
Yeah.
me as we were taking the train back, and I was like, "Guys, I know we're tired, but we got to stay up and watch this," and we did, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is incredible."
Yeah, yeah, it is definitely awesome. So kudos. That is a definite bright spot of robotic fornication in the year of 2016. Um,
Video
now,
games? Do you play any video
last
games?
yeah, I got a chance to play some video games this year, and I have to say that this was again another bright spot in 2016. Um, Now you're Xbox and PS4, right?
I
As
do
I
not have a
was.
PS4. All I have is an
Cubby
Xbox.
does.
Cubby does. Cubby's all.
Yeah.
Cubby is still knee deep in Destiny. So if you're wondering what his favorite game was this year, probably Destiny. I know.
Right.
I mean, we've all at the house been playing a ton of Overwatch. That is my game of the year.
Right.
Um, but yeah, he's still doing a lot of that. I'm trying to get. I have to get a PS4 before the Spider-Man game comes out because that's a
Yeah.
PS4 exclusive. So
Yep. I
going
think
in.
my game of the year so far, I haven't had a chance to play. There's two on my list that just released for Christmas, and I haven't got a chance to pick them up. And I didn't get them for Christmas, so I'm somewhat pissed. If you're listening, Sean, you're an asshole. I was hoping you would get the hint,
You
but
had one job.
you had one job, dude, and I got a Home Depot card.
Can't
Um,
even buy video
so
games at Home Depot.
yeah, exactly. Can't even buy video games at Home Depot. I'm gonna get a fucking saw. So that being said, the number one video game for me on 2016 was Uncharted 4. Um, Uncharted. This is the last installment, or supposedly the last installment of Nathan Drake and the Uncharted series, and by far, if you get a chance to pick this thing up, it is seriously like playing a movie. Even Brandon, even for you, if and when you get that PS4, pick it up. Pick up the Uncharted series. Everybody I've told to pick up the Uncharted series has fallen in love with this game and this character, Nathan Drake. It's like if you took um, a younger Indiana Jones and smashed them together with Nathan Fillion from Firefly, Mal's character from Firefly, you would have Nathan Drake. And it is a beautifully done game. There was times when I would literally forget that it's the game and not a cutscene. So,
Okay.
so normally there's some kind of when you're in
The
a
signal,
cutscene,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, there's a signal to it, but in the game, the cutscenes and the gameplay scenes are so fluid that you don't realize it until you get a prompt or something shoots you. You're like, oh, I'm
Oh, you're
supposed to
like,
be,
oh, I need to be fighting. I need to do
yeah,
something.
I should be fighting right now. So, um, that was by far my favorite. I mean, Destiny, yes, I play a lot of Destiny, not as much as Cubby, but I do play a lot of Destiny. But hands
Cubby is a
down,
goddamn G on that game. Like, it is
yeah,
ridiculous.
he is. He is.
Yeah.
I'll admit. I mean, he is gangster as fuck when it comes to the game. I have to hit Cubby up for help. So
Yeah, he knows what he's doing if you're out there in PS4 land.
yeah.
They did release the BioShock collection, which was the remastered BioShock games. That being one of my favorite franchises of all time. And then Warner Brothers was like, "Oh, hey Brandon, check this out. We got all those Arkham games remastered." And I was like, "Oh, damn you guys! Like everybody competing for my love this year."
Yeah,
So there was a lot of good video. Doom was fun.
yeah.
Dishonored 2 was a lot of fun. Pokemon Sun and Moon. I've played every Pokemon game that's come out, or at least one of the two when they come out in the pairs or
Mhm,
whatever. So this has just
mhm.
been like the next one for me, and this has been a pretty cool game so far. It's way different, mildly racist. It takes place in the Aloha region, which is like Hawaii of Pokemon. And there's some like dialogue and stuff where I'm like, hmm, seems seems a little weird, but whatever. I'm past it. That's for everybody else to
Right.
fight about. But yeah, that's what I spent most of my time. I mean, Overwatch though, goddamn, like that game is
Yeah.
so much fun. Blizzard knows what they're doing with video games. You buy the game, and everything they release for it will be free. They've already released 2 characters, added a map. They've really changed like how competitive play is. They now have like an arcade where you can play as like they do one where it's a regular 6 versus 6, but it's a
Mhm.
random hero. So every time you die, you just come back as somebody else, and
Oh,
that's cool
nice.
because it really gets you. Like I've gotten kill streaks with people I've never bothered to play with or haven't played with much because I'm like, oh, this person sucks. But when you get you spawn and you're now a sniper, I'm like, well, I guess I just have to ride this out, and it's like, oh shit, I'm actually
Right.
kind of good with this guy or this girl. It's Overwatch is a lot of fun. I definitely suggest anybody picking that up, and it gets competitive. Like it gets, there are some
I
salty
think
people playing Overwatch.
I think I'll have to pick up Overwatch now that it's after the holidays. I didn't get anything I wanted, so I guess I'll
Some
pick up
video
Overwatch.
games.
Yeah, pick up some video games. Hey,
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. What else? Did you have any more categories?
no, that's pretty much only the highlights for me as far as it goes for 2016. Not a lot of good stuff to go around, but I mean, when it was good, it was damn good stuff.
I will say real quick, like
Mm.
I did try to pick a favorite album, and that was maybe my biggest list of anything I wrote.
Mm.
I mean, Childish Gambino's new album was awesome. Chance the Rapper's new album was awesome. Bayside had a new album. Tiger Army, which is one of my favorite bands. Blink 182 had a great album. David Bowie gave us his last album. Dillinger Escape Plan gave us their last album. Direct Hit, who's this punk band I really like, put out a really fucking good album. Rainer, another punk band that's just pop punk band that's just awesome. Uh, the Tribe Called Quest album. That was,
Mhm.
oh my god, that was so good. Uh, I mean, there was a lot of good things this year, despite all the shit. And music was definitely Every Time I Die. Low Teens is my favorite album of the year. They're like, I'm stupid about that band if you know anything about me, anyways. But like, this was just their best album, and music definitely helped get through a lot of the bullshit this year. I mean, like, that Tribe Called Quest album was good, man. That was so good.
Yeah, it was.
The
I would have to say,
Childish
like for
Gambino one
me,
too. I
for
mean,
me, man, I would say the Tribe Called Quest so far has been it for me. David Bowie's last album was actually really good too.
I put off listening to that for so long because when I found out that he knew he was dying when he wrote it, I was
Yeah.
like, nah, man, I can't do it. I can't do this. Like, don't make me do this. And then I
Right.
did, and I was just like, oh, god damn it. Like, this is so good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a tough one, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's gonna do it for our top of 2016. Next episode might be what we're looking forward to in 2017. You know, besides the fall of America to dictator Trump, which is the one thing I just low key keep worrying about in the back of my head. But
Right, that's gonna be all.
I mean, with the not to go into that now, but Blade Runner trailer, Alien trailer. There's a
Right.
lot of shit we got to talk
We're gonna
about.
be,
So
yeah, there's a lot of stuff we're gonna talk about the next podcast. And if you have something that you're looking forward to, make sure that you hit us up on the Facebook page and let us know, or Instagram, or Twitter, and let us know that what are the things that you're looking forward to in 2017. We would love to hear from you guys, and maybe we'll talk about it on the next podcast.
yeah, please, any of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. Just if you have any questions, if you want us to talk about anything in particular, please do that because that would be great. We love hearing from you guys. So yeah, that is going to do it for this episode of the Nerd Locker podcast. You guys have a happy new year. We will see you next year, and we hope you guys have a nerdy week.